Geeks for Geeks has a challenge for you, the 390 challenge. Choose what you want to learn in 2024 and aim to complete at least 90% of the course in the next 90 days. And if you do that, you get back 90% of what you paid for the course. We believe you can do that. Now all you got to do is commit to your success, commit with Geeks for Geeks.
Hello. Okay, guys, we are live. So let's begin. So hello everyone, I'm Viraj Jain and welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. And today is another video of our TypeScript series. So first of all, let me tell you one thing that is about Geeks for Geeks 90 days challenge. So basically, you can visit the Geeks for Geeks official website, and here you would know that yeah, if you finish our courses within 90 days of purchase, 90% of the course within 90 days of the purchase, you would get 90% of your amount refunded. This offer is valid for the month of January. So if you want to participate, definitely you can. And like you would just go to the courses section. There you can get all the courses, whatever you want. It's applicable on all courses, but for the month of January only. If you purchase any course after that, then you won't get this offer. You might get some other offer, but not this offer. Okay. So yeah, do definitely check out this one. Now let's continue with my GitHub profile. So first of all, if you have watched my previous videos, then that's fine. But if you haven't watched my previous videos, please watch them so that you have an idea what we have done till now. So to get the complete source code of previous classes, what you need to do is you just need to search for github.com/viraj014. Okay, you just need to search this github.com/viraj014. This is my GitHub profile, and here you just need to go to the repositories, and here you can see we have TypeScript, Next.js, GFG. Okay, so just click here, and here guys you would get TypeScript codes, right? So this is it, and we are also going to cover Next.js after just a second. Okay. Yeah, we are going to cover Next.js after these two remaining videos. And today, guys, the topic title which you can see in this video is actually file management techniques, but not. We are going to cover the OOPS concepts today. In the next video, we're going to cover the file management techniques, okay? Because, yeah, there was some miscommunication. But anyways, today we are going to cover the OOPS concepts, and the title for this video would be later on changed to OOPS concepts in TypeScript. Okay, so yeah, we are going to learn OOPS concept today, and in the next video we are going to learn file management techniques, and after that the TypeScript part would be completed. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Next.js. So Next.js is a popular framework, front-end framework, and is used as a, you can say, subset, or I can say like superior. It's actually superior. It's like a it contains all the functionalities of React.js, that is hooks, components, routing, navigation, like that, and also some extra features with Next.js provides us. So we're going to learn Next.js, and it requires prerequisite knowledge of React.js. So if you don't know what is React.js and what's exactly is it, please try to learn React.js, then only you can understand Next.js. We still have, I think, 5-6 days, so I think you can learn React.js basics at least in the next 5-6 days. So after that we are going to start with Next.js, and the complete source code for previous classes is available here. You can check out that. And after this, guys, let's start with today's video. Okay. Yes. So let's discuss a few OOPS concepts, then we are gonna jump to the code. So everyone is when I started learning OOPS, I was always confused about this. What are classes? What are objects? What is encapsulation? What is abstraction? What is polymorphism? Too much concepts, right? But yeah, still you have to do this anyhow. So I would just suggest all of you just master OOPS, because you're going to use OOPS everywhere. You're going to use OOPS in C++. In C we don't have OOPS. In C++ we have OOPS. So C++, Java, Python, this JavaScript, and then TypeScript. So everywhere you have OOPS, right? So it's always better to just learn the concepts of OOPS, because they're exactly same everywhere. Okay, so just learn them properly and just understand them, I would just say. So like you don't need to know everything by heart, but at least have an overview. Okay, this is a class, this is a constructor, this is a the concept of polymorphism, this is encapsulation, this is abstraction, and this is inheritance. So there are some limited concepts only, it's not a very big task, so I think we programmers can do anything, so it's okay, right? So let me just find my pen, just a second guys. Okay, मिल गया. Alright, so I'll be explaining OOPS concepts first of all, then we're gonna jump into the code part. So I'm just going to write them one by one so that there's a good revision which you can all do. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna write some terms which we have in OOPS so that you know that, yeah, just brush up your basics. So first of all, here at the top, let's just enhance this. Okay, that's it. So yeah, we are learning what OOPS. Okay, so OOPS, and the title of this video is file management, so then later on it would be changed to oops. Okay, so in the next video we're going to learn file management. Today we are going to learn oops. Okay, so OOPS. Okay, oops, that's it, that's it. So you can see, perfect. So first oops concepts which we must start with is what? First of all, OOPS is what? Object-oriented programming system. Okay, so we actually call it OOP, but yeah, like OOP or OOPS, whatever you call it. So I'm gonna call it OOPS. Okay, object-oriented programming. It's actually OOPS. So here we are gonna write. First concept is actually class, and then the second concept which you must know is objects, right? And the third concept which you must know is um yes, it's inheritance. Then we're gonna know encapsulation. So inheritance, INHERI, inheritance. And then we're gonna have some more concepts like encapsulation, then we're gonna have polymorphism, then we're gonna have one more concept, that is what? Abstraction. Abstraction, right? So basically these are all the concepts of OOPS which we are going to discuss today, and I hope everyone knows JavaScript. And JavaScript they have learned about two OOPS, because yeah, this is always taught when you learn about JavaScript, but still we are gonna start like a little bit more basically. Okay, so now I'm just going to say first of all what is a class. So classes are actually blueprints for creating objects in TypeScript. Okay, so let's try to create a class in TypeScript. I'm not going to confuse you a lot. I'm just going to use basic logic so that you understand this, and later on you can implement this on your own code, because this would be like whole practical purpose. You just need to know the concepts of OOPS and how to write the code in this case, and later on when you're creating project, and there if you need OOPS concepts, there you would understand the complete, I would say, practical implementation in a better way. But right now I'll use some basic examples to explain each of these to you. Okay, so let's go, and this was the project folder, so I'll just open it, right click and new, and I'm just gonna name it in this one as oops. Okay, oops. Yes, oops. Okay, so let's open this. Just a second, what happened? Okay, now I think it would work. Okay, so yes, I have started my VS Code. You can see this is it, and let's change it to some of my favorite color. Okay, something different, orange, view green looks good. Okay, so here guys, let's first of all talk about the concept. So I'll just create an index.ts file, And let's talk about class. So classes are basically blueprints of creating object for creating objects. So let's discuss that. I'm just gonna write the definition here so that everyone knows. Classes are blueprints for creating objects. Okay. I hope everyone knows what is an object. We created an object in previous videos also. We used them a lot in previous videos. Today also we are going to use objects. First, let's discuss what is class. Okay, so it's like they define the properties and methods of that objects. Later on, like for example, you have an object, you can have some methods, some variables, key value pairs like that. So we actually have some properties of objects. So we can actually define a blueprint first, then later on create an object after that. Okay, so that some security is there, right? So let's create a class. So I'll just say first of all, class keyword is used for creating a class. Let's create a class named as car. Okay, so we are going to create a class named as car. Now you know that a car can have some properties. What properties? Like a car can suppose have brand. Okay, so brand. If you're using just JavaScript, you directly write it like this, okay? But if you're using TypeScript, you have to write the type here also, okay? So I'm just saying brand would be given and it would be a string. That means some word or a letter or a sentence like that, okay? That would be a brand, right? So this is it. Now we have a brand and we have one more property, that is suppose we have model of a car, okay? So model is string, okay? So it's like class would contain some properties which must be there inside a car, okay? It's like this. In this case, you can see a car has some properties. What is the first property? It has a brand, it has a model. They must be there, okay? Then only it's a car, okay? Right? Then we have some constructors. So that constructor is used to basically set the value of a particular object. So we're gonna call this constructor whenever we want to create an object. So I'm just gonna say if someone provides brand and someone provides model, okay, and both of these fields are strings, then we're gonna say that we are gonna create a new object whose brand would be the brand provided by the user as a function. You can assume that this is a function which would be called to create an object. User would provide brand and model, and this would be set to a class and a new object would be created. Okay, so we'll do this just now, just wait. So brand and brand would be passed to this object, and then again model would be set to this object, right? So let's have one more function, that is start function. Suppose let's name it as start, and this is actually a method. We call it a method and you can call it a function also. So I'm just gonna say console.log, and let's say I'm gonna print some values like uh, dollar, this dot brand, this dot model is starting. Okay, is starting. So you can see that this is basically a method which would be called for a particular object. So you can see I've defined some properties as well as defined a method for this particular for any particular object. So for example, let's create an object. Okay, I hope everyone knows that what is an object. If I try to explain you that what's exactly an object, if you want to create an object, for example, if I write let obj1. So if you want to create an object, what you would say is you would just say brand. Brand is suppose Ferrari. Okay, I think I'm writing right spelling. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so Ferrari, it's actually, yes, I think this is the right spelling. Okay, right. And suppose this is the model, and then we can say this is basically an object. This is basically an object. But here are a lot of problems. We don't actually have some proper blueprint, right? For example, if I miss the brand, if I don't write the brand, then that's also fine for this object. So what we can do is we can actually give it a class. So for example, I would just say let my car one equals, and I'll just say new, and then I need to write the car class, and inside this guys I would just write, for example, the car is Toyota, and the model is what, suppose Camry. Okay, so suppose this is, so you can see one object is created. Let's create another object. So I'll just say let my car 2, and let's say this is another car. Okay, so you can see that we can create multiple objects for a single class acts as a blueprint. That means these properties would be there, right? So now let's do one more thing. We are gonna call my car1 dot start. If I call this, what would happen? It would print what? Brand Toyota, model Camry is starting. Okay, and for class for car2, what would I print? Honda Accord is starting, right? That's how it actually works. So this is how we can define a class with method and a constructor. Constructor would be just like this. You can see this is a constructor. We have called the constructor here. We are passing the values to the constructor, and constructor would set the value to our object. That's it. That's what constructor does, right? So now let's try to run this. For that, what we're gonna do is just go to terminal, and here I'm just gonna write uh, just a second. So git okay, yeah, I'll just write this, and then I'm gonna call npm, sorry, node index.js. So you can see that Toyota Camry is starting. Perfect. Now similarly, if I write by car 2, so it would follow up the second object. So this is it. You can see that the second object Honda code is starting. Okay, perfect. So that's how we can create classes. I hope you understood this part. Is the start method okay? Yeah, very good question. It's like you can just name it anything. Okay, it's just a method. You can see this is a property, this is a property. You can change it to like brand like this. Okay, this is also a property. Similarly, I can change this also. Okay, this is totally fine. This is just a method. Okay, this is just a method. Right, this is just a method. You can give it any name. Okay, you can create multiple methods also. You can create multiple properties like this also. Okay, class is a collection of properties and methods for creating like blueprint of an object. Okay, for this is used for just creating blueprint of an object. You can see we created object by just using this class as a blueprint, right? We created an object by using this class as a blueprint, right? So that's it and nothing else. So I'm just gonna name it as start xyz. Okay, so that you know that this is something human. Okay, right? And also you can just change the property names if you want, whatever you want. You can add x number of properties, you can have x number of methods, totally fine with your personalized name. You can create one more method here. Okay, you can create one more method. Okay, you can just name it like this. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, you can create multiple methods as well as multiple classes, multiple properties, and as well as multiple methods. Okay, that's totally fine because class is a collection of methods and properties, right? And then the second question is, don't we have to assign method return type? Yes, if you have a return type, then you can assign. If you don't have a return type, then that's totally fine. Okay, but yeah, very good doubt. What I'm gonna do is, okay, first of all, let's change the name here. And here what I can do is I can just say that this is my function, right? So I'm just gonna say that this function would be, suppose if I write void here, so you can see that's also fine because we are not returning anything. So it's always great to define it like this. It would be great, but if you are not returning anything, then that's also fine. So for example, if I return something, okay, let's return something. Return. Okay, suppose for example, if I am returning some text, so you can see first of all, if I don't have anything here, you can see that's totally fine because yeah, classes are like just normal JavaScript. In normal JavaScript, you can have normal classes like this, right? You have normal classes like this. You don't need to define the type also. That's totally fine for normal JavaScript. For TypeScript also, this is totally fine. But it's advised to write the type here whenever you are following. Okay, so I'm expecting string value, so I'm returning string. Suppose now if I just return some number value 1, so you can see I'm getting an error. Okay, so if you write the type, then it would just give you an error. Okay, so that's it. So now I hope you understood this. I can actually return this string only. Okay, so I can just return the string. That's what you want, so I can return this string. Okay, that's it. So if you are returning something, you have to return the type also. Always don't forget to write this. It won't throw an error in the class case, but still you need to write this. That would always benefit you, right? Perfect. Now let's continue with the next concept, that is inheritance. Okay, the inheritance. So inheritance is like I have like a father has three childs. Okay, I don't have kids. Father has a three childs. Okay, so father has three childs. So what I'm gonna do is inheritance is like, suppose there is a father. Okay, father has a child A, child B, and child C. Okay, and you know my name is Harshal Jain. Okay, so for example, father is Mr. S.K. Jain. Okay, that's my father's name. So here you can see that his kids, that means me and my siblings, would be having the same surname. That means I'm inheriting some properties from my father. Okay, that's what is inheritance. So you are going to inherit some properties from your father. You're going to inherit, and suppose address. Okay, you would be living in same address, hopefully. Some people might live in different address, but I live in same address, so I've inherited my father's address, right? Similarly, I'm gonna inherit the second name, that is surname. So second name, and like this, right? And I think that's it. So similarly, other childs will also be inheriting some properties from their father. Okay, and child C would be inheriting some properties from their father. These are some properties which they are inheriting from their father. They can have some unique property from their self also, like they can have their own property. Like for example, this particular child likes to sing, so it's like singing. He likes singing. Okay, singing. Okay, and this child likes to play football, and this child likes to swim. So you can see totally three different things. So you can see, yeah, these are some things. Like you can have some extra properties like this, but these are inherited. Okay, these are inherited from the father, inherited. That's it. So we are going to understand this one with one more good example by writing the code. Okay, so let's create a child for this parent class. Okay, this is a parent class, that means this is a father. So you can see it has a brand and model and constructor and okay, I'm just gonna remove this one. Okay, or let it be. Okay, or let it be, so that confusion is avoided. Okay, so you can see we have this function for this. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a second class, subclass. Okay, so I'm just gonna comment this out, and I'm just gonna say that class sports car extends car. This simply means that I am creating sports car, the child of class car. Okay, that means this is the parent, this is the child. Perfect. Now I'm just gonna say that we are going to provide one extra property. So I'm just gonna say that this sports car is gonna have, suppose, ACCELERATE, accelerate property. And this is actually method, I'm sorry, this is actually a method. I'm saying that's going to return void, and whenever I call this, I'm just gonna say console.log dollar, and let's say this dot brand is accelerating. Okay, so you can see if I am creating a class of this car, okay, I'm creating an object of this car, this won't have the accelerate property. But if I'm creating an object of this sports car class, okay, if I'm creating an object of this sport class, okay, that means it would have accelerate property as well as all the previous property and methods also. Okay, so let's create this. Okay, so we'll just say that let okay, I'm just gonna say that I'm again going to create this. Okay, instead of this, first of all, let's create a normal car class. Okay, so now if I'm creating an object of this normal car class, you can see it would have all the properties of this. But suppose if I call the accelerate function, will it be called or not? Okay, so let's try to call this. So my sports car dot accelerate, accelerate. So you can see this would throw an error, that is property accelerate does not exist on type car. So you can see it does not exist on type car. But if I use the same thing for a sports car class, okay, sports car class, you can see sports car class has accelerate property. What else properties it is having? It is in having some inherited properties. So sports car is inheriting properties from car class, that is here. So now from here, suppose if I call start xyz, this would also work. Okay, this would also work. So all the properties which are inside this, properties or methods inside this, as well as some extra properties which you have inherited from your parent. That's it. That's what inheritance is. Okay. Can we set multiple constructors in class architecture? In already I've done in Java on, okay, there we can do on multiple constructors, which is like which type of object. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so you can see we constructor for this, we use constructor for this. Okay, let's suppose we create some other constructor here. Okay, instead of this, I'm gonna say we're gonna have some constructor. uh, can see, like, I'm creating some different property, brand 123. You can see this property is just brand. I'm just creating another property, brand 123. Now if I call a constructor in sports car, let's try to set property here instead of at the top. Okay, although I think this won't work. And yes, so I'm just going to say, suppose this is a string and model is this. Okay, so now let's say if we have a constructor, so you can see I'm just going to copy the constructor. So when I say this is a constructor and model and this and this and this and okay, I'm sorry, this brand 123. Okay, so this and this. Okay, so you can see it's throwing an error. First of all, you can see constructor are derived from a class, then must be a super class. Okay, so first of all, here you can see if you want to just give properties to this sports car new constructor, then you need to use super tag here, which you use in JavaScript, and you can't define a constructor here. That's it. Okay, so I hope you understood this. We can't define multiple constructors here. Like if there's three constructors, then you can create three types of distinct objects. No, you can't create like this. You have only one constructor here like this. Okay, that's it. Now let's continue, guys, with some more example. We studied about inheritance. That means this child is inheriting some property from car class. Okay, let's create one more child. Okay, so this was one child. Okay, okay, I'll just remove this. Okay, we don't need this. Okay, so we're gonna have one more child. So class, and suppose like for example sports car is done. So let's say we have a sedan. Okay, we have a sedan car. Okay, and it's extending car class, that means child of car class. And let's say we have property like for example uh, color. Okay, color property for this, suppose. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that we have some color property. Okay, actually I'm sorry, this is going to be, okay, let's create a color method here. I'm sorry, this is a function. So I'm just gonna say console.log and this dot for example model is, we are just going to return void here. We are not returning anything, so just write void here, and we are just trying to print something is having color. Okay, that's it. Okay, so you can see that this is it. Now let's try to say if I want to just get the color property of this, for example, you can see for sports car we don't have the color property, so we are getting the error. We're getting the error. Okay, but for sedan car we have the color property, so you can see it's not showing an error. But for sedan car, if I talk about the accelerate property, that is accelerate method, does not have the accelerate method. Okay, so you can see it does not have the accelerate method. That's it, right? So you can see that's how it actually works. Now if you want to give some like a variable, for example, if you have okay, let's say we have tire size as number. Okay, so it is number. Okay, it's actually a number, right? Now what you can do is you can call a constructor and you can give them some tire size. Okay, so you can see that if I want to add some extra property, what I can do is instead of this, instead of just calling a normal constructor, we are going to call our own constructor. I'm sorry, extends. We're going to call our own constructor. So for that we are just gonna write constructor, and here we're gonna write the model as well as model would be string, and then we're gonna provide the brand, and then we're gonna provide the uh, tire size. Okay, we're going to provide these, and after this if I write super model brand, and then we're gonna say tire size is not okay, I'm sorry, we are providing this as a number, I'm sorry, number. Okay, so you can see that now whenever we create a class for sedan class, whenever I create an object for sedan class, you can see that is asking for tire size also. So now we can give tire size also. So it's just saying that these two properties would be sent to the parent, and this tire size property is only applicable to this specific car. Okay, so from the parent does not have the tire size property, that's why we created a tire size property here, and this tire size applicable only to this class, that means child class, not for parent class. Okay, but these these two properties we have sent to the parent also. Okay, we have sent to the parent. Okay, so when we are creating constructor of the class, now it needs some tire size also. So suppose this is a tire size, so you can see that's how it actually works, and then you would easily see this. Okay, then you would see this. So let's try to call a method, for example, tf. Okay, ts. Okay, let's say it's having a function ts. It would just return me tire size. Okay, so when I just write console.log has, then we're gonna write the dollar sign, and then we're gonna write tire size. Okay, like this. Okay, so tire size. Perfect. So now let's try to call this. So if I call ts function and let's run this, so you can see that it would work properly, and you can see I'm getting the tire size also now. So I can set property for a particular class also. Okay, sub class also, the child class also. It won't be applicable to the parent. Okay, parent only has brand and model, but child has now a property also itself, a new property, that is tire size property, which is only applicable, for example, for sedan car, not for sports car. That's why. Okay, although it's there, but still we are assuming. Okay, so that's how it actually works. In TypeScript, is there like one super keyword and another super keyword? Okay, they are actually different, but for like for example, when you are trying to give, this is a child class, right? This child class, we are saying that this child class would be having new property, that is tire size, like exclusive for this class, and model and brand properties would be for the upper class, that means the parent class. Okay, so a super keyword is simply used to set property for parent class. Okay, for parent class, and that single super keyword is used for some other purpose, not for this. But super function, you can see this is actually super function, you can say. Okay, super function is used in classes inside constructors. Okay, and yes. And now I think we need to learn one more concept, that is encapsulation. Okay, so we'll learn this. Let's learn this. Okay, so now we learned about this inheritance. I'm just going to comment this out. Now let's talk about the same class. Okay, so I'll just copy this and comment this out also. I'm going to use this again. So encapsulation basically refers, okay, I'm just going to use some better example now. So encapsulation refers to basically building of data and methods that operate on single unit. Okay, for example, it helps restricting access. Okay, it helps restricting access. For example, you have a public class, you have public data, you have public type, private type, and protected type. You might have heard about this. So that's what encapsulation is. Okay, so basically you can use encapsulation to make things protect. Okay, to make things protective. um, for example, let's take a class as person. Okay, let's take a class as person, and I'm gonna say class as person, and here we are going to say that we have suppose person's name as string, right? And then we're gonna have a constructor to set the set the name string. Okay, set the name, and then we're gonna have this dot name equals name. Okay, equals name. Perfect. Now we have method also, for example, say hello. Okay, and then we are gonna say console.log, this is name. Okay, this name. Okay, so now guys, here you can see that if I directly call person.name, what would happen? Let's see. Okay, if I directly call, so if I just say that person1 equals new person John, and now let's try to print console.log person1.name, what would happen? Will I get name or not? Let's see. So you can see if I run this, can see I get name, because this is public for all. You actually have a hidden public keyword here. This means that anyone can see this name, anyone can see this name, anyone can see this name. Okay, similarly, suppose we have password, so public password. Okay, suppose this is one more property, anyone can see my password also, right? So let's set password also, and this dot password. equals password. Okay, and here let's set the password as hj123. Okay, so now if I try to print this console.log person1.password, so you can see I've set both the properties, and I would be able to print both the properties because both of them are public. Okay, so now if I hit this, and you can see John and hj123. So if you don't see the public keyword here, that still means it's public. Okay, that still means it's public. That means by default the property is public only. The property or the function, whatever you want, is public only. Now what you would do is, what you can do is, you can just change it to private. You can just change it to private. That means I don't want anyone to see my password. So if I make it private, it can be only accessed within this class only. Okay, so now you can see that I'm getting an error. Property password is private and only accessible within this class person. Okay, suppose we have a subchild. So I'll just say a class as person. I'll just say that male. Okay, for example, we have male. We have male class. Okay, male extends person. Okay, so what I'm gonna say is, suppose someone tries to just say hello. Okay, say hello, and and here if I write the password, I want to get the password also, and your password is this. Will I be able to get the password or not? Your password is this, right? Your password is this. Will I be able to get the password or not? So you can see that property password is private and only accessible within the class. That means you can't even access the password property inside the child. That's also not allowed. Okay, so if you want to access the password property, what you can do is, inside the child you can use protected keyword. So if you write the protected keyword, then in that case you can access the private property, access the property inside the subclass, inside the child. You can see this is the child. You can access the password property inside the child, but yeah, you cannot use the password property externally. You can't use it. Okay, suppose if you want to use it externally, what you can do is, here I can create a method actually. So for example, if I write get pass, okay, get password, and what you can do is, would actually return me password. Okay, it would return me password. Okay, instead of return, what I'm going to do is, directly I'm going to print this. Okay, so void and console log. Okay, directly I'm going to print this. So this would actually give me password very easily. Okay, so this is dot password. Okay, that's it. So now let's try this. So now instead of this, if I want to get the password, so instead of this, what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to call just get password. Okay, so if I call this, actually you can see cannot find. Okay, it's actually uh okay, I'm sorry. It's actually person1 dot get password. Right now it would work. Okay, so you can see now if I want to get the password, I can easily get this. Even if it's protected or private, then also I can get the password. Okay, so that's a benefit. So you can use methods to get the properties. Now similarly, if you want to set the password, what you can do is, set password. So if you want to update the password, so set password. Suppose I want to set the password, and this would actually help me to set the password. So this dot password equals password. Okay, I can easily set the password, but if I want to set the password directly, it's protected. I can't change the password, but if I call this method to set the password, I can do this. Okay, so let's try this. If I say person1 dot set password, and let's pass as something like this. So previously the password was what, hj123. Let's make it something like GFG. Okay, GFG. Now the password is GFG, and again let's try to print this. Okay, I'll try to print this. Let's see if it works. So you can see that now if I run this, you can see that now I change the password from hj123 to GFG. Okay, very easily. So these are some methods. Get and set method can be easily used to modify private or protected keywords very easily. You can use this, right? Now let's continue. I hope you understood what's encapsulation. Encapsulation is basically you have public, private or protected keyword. Public is accessible to all. Protected is only accessible to child classes. Although you can use get and set methods to modify protected or private variables. Okay, private properties. And similarly, if I talk about private property, instead of if it's private, even this child cannot access that. So suppose let's try to use the private keyword here. Okay, let's try to use the private keyword here. What would happen? So private. So if even if it's private, you can use get and set method, but the child can't access the password property. Okay, you can see child can't access the private property, right? I hope you understood this now. Okay, now let's continue with the next concept which we really need, and that's basically uh, polymorphism. That's basically polymorphism. Okay, so let's try to understand that. So I'm gonna comment all of these things out. So polymorphism is very easy. It's like polymorphism is basically one of the very important principle, and it is used basically it allows different objects to be treated as objects as common base type. For example, you have a class as animal. Okay, let me give you a good example. You have a class as animal. Okay, animals, and असली वाला animal. Okay, जानवर वाला animal, not human animal. Okay, so speak and console dot log. Suppose I have a method for this animal is speaking. Okay, so now let's try to create a class. Okay, so for example, if I just say if I want to create a class. Okay, so let's my animal, and now if I want to just call this, okay, what would happen? It would print this. Okay, it would print this. Also just mention the void type so that you know that it's returning void. Okay, now let's try to call this, and what would it return is it would return animal is speaking. Okay, now what we would do is we would create a subclass and just try to give this same function name to subclass. Let's see what happens. So I'm just going to copy this and paste this, and for example, we have animal type named as dog. In dogs we have different breeds, that means breed, but yeah, it is also an animal, right? So I'm just saying that animal, the child of animal is dog. Okay, another child can be cat. So I'm just gonna say dog is speaking, dog is barking, actually dog barks. Okay, and similarly, let's say we have a subclass as cat. Okay, we have subclass as cat, and let's say if I call speak method inside cat, I would get this. Okay, so let's say now this time uh, let okay, now let's say that instead of animal, you can see for animal, or what I got is animal is speaking. Now let's say if it's a dog, let's see what we get. Okay, so you can see that in this case we are getting dog parks. That's what polymorphism is. You can see we have same functions. That means this parent is providing the same function to its child. Okay, but in this case you can see the child also has the same function, so this would be followed. That's what is polymorphism. Like you have same functions but different applications everywhere. Okay, different applications everywhere. So if I call the function inside dog, I would get this. If I call the same function inside cat, I would get this. Call this inside this, I would get animal is speaking. Okay, so suppose if I have cat. Okay, if I have cat, so what I would get is cat is cat meows. Okay, I'm sorry, cat does not barks, so cat meows. Okay, now let's run this. So you can see cat meows, right? So now guys, I think that's it. And now for example, there is one more method. Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. I think we have covered everything today. We have covered polymorphism, right? We covered polymorphism, we covered uh let's see what have we covered. So we covered basically polymorphism, we covered encapsulation, right? And we covered inheritance, and we covered objects, and we classes, and one more thing is remaining here guys, that is abstraction. Okay, what's basically abstraction? So basically we have abstraction properties, and let me just explain this in short. Yes, so abstraction is another concept in object-oriented programming, and we use it inside our TypeScript also. So let's understand abstraction. So it actually involves complex systems by modeling classes based on essential properties and behaviors. and we are actually going to hide unnecessary details. Okay, that for example, if you have some details and you want to hide them, that means show only that what's important. Okay, only important part would be shown, rest everything would be hidden. Okay, everything would be hidden. That's not important. Okay, so for example, we have an abstract class. So basically you are going to create an abstract class. So abstract class, and for this we have extract keyword, and I'm just gonna say we have shape to this name. The class name is shape. Okay, so this is what an abstract class, and we have abstract property also. So if I just say we have draw property for this. Okay, draw property, and right now it's void. Now it just say that get info, and this would actually return string. Okay, I'm just gonna say that return, it would be returning, for example, this is a shape, this is a shape. Okay, this is the shape. So it's like you have this is a non-abstract method, and this is abstract method, right? And this is in the abstract class, and you can see abstract method, and you can see non-abstract method. Now what you can do is, if you are creating a child, let's say we have a child. So I'm just gonna say, suppose we have a circle shape here, extend shape class. Now what you can do is, if I have radius property as number to this circle, right? And what's the problem here? Non-abstract class does not implement all members of shape. Okay, so we actually have to implement the methods. So I'm just gonna say constructor radius as number, and then I'm just gonna say super, that means implement all the properties, and then we are gonna say that this is radius. Now one more thing is, I need to implement the draw class here. Okay, so draw function here. Okay, so I'm just gonna say drawing a circle of radius this. Okay, so now you can see, like, if implementation of abstract method is applied in child classes, that means it's showing me what's important. Now let's try to run this first of all. So first of all, here you can see shape is what? Shape is basically abstract class that defines the method draw, and abstract methods do not they do not have implementation in the abstract classes. So you can see you are not implementing this abstract method inside this abstract classes, you are implementing it inside the child. You can see inside the child, right? So circle is a concrete class, that means the child class that extends the shape and provides implementation for the draw method. You can see we are using this, we are trying to use this abstract method. Okay, we are not using abstract method here, we are using abstract method inside the child. Okay, that means if you don't write it here, you just define it here, that's fine, but you have to use this abstract method here, that's important. Okay, so shape class actually represents the abstraction of generic shape. Okay, generic shape, and the child that is circle provides specific implementation for abstract methods. You can see for circle this is specific implementation. For example, let's create one more thing, that is, I'll just say class, and we have square, and again I'm just saying we have length property to this, and let's say we have the same constructor, and just implement all the uh, above for the parent. Okay, all above for the parent, that's super. And then I'm going to say we have a draw method, and this time I'm just saying drawing square of length. This time it's returning drawing square of length. Instead of drawing a circle of length for square, I'm saying drawing a square of length. Okay, that's it. Now let's, okay, I have to close this. Okay, close this. So you can see for circle we have this method, and for square we have this method. Both are different, both implementation are different, and this method is abstract. You can see this method is abstract, right? So okay, let's do one more thing. If I create a square, if I create a circle, okay, so I'll just say let shape. Okay, shape 1, let's create a circle. So if I just write I'm returning this, right? So I'm just going to print this get info. So what would happen? I'm going to just get info directly from here, we don't really need this. Okay, so now if I run this, now, like, if I just run this, you can see this shape, that means this child is taking properties from this, that means get info is working. Now if I just call draw, okay, if I just call draw, what would happen? I would be getting this circle, drawing a circle of radius 12, right? Just you can skip this undefined because we are returning it, that's why it's showing undefined. Anyways, you can see that we are getting circle of this shape. Okay, instead of this we are creating a square, so you would see that we are getting a square. Okay, and now let's run this. So you can see I'm getting a drawing a square. Now instead of this, if I directly call the shape class, and I'm not going to provide anything to this. Okay, let's see what happens. So you can see that cannot create an instance of the abstract class. Okay, so you can see we cannot create the instance because we don't have anything here. We don't have anything here. So it's like, okay, so let's do one thing. I'm just gonna say name property. Okay, for example, name, or what you can call it is uh, color. Okay, color property, for example. Color property is common, for example. So color property, and it's a string, and I'm just gonna create a constructor. This would set the color. Okay, and this time I'm just gonna pass okay, instead of this, if I pass a string here, okay, here if I pass a red color, and instead of this I just pass the color to this constructor, and now let's try to set it. Okay, so let's see what happens. So you can see that this is an abstract class. So abstract class can't be used directly, you can use them in childs. Okay, so abstract simply means like if the class is abstract, you can't do this. Okay, suppose now if I make it a normal class, you can see if you have a normal class, you can't have abstract method inside an abstract class. Okay, inside a normal class. Okay, so if you want to have abstract method, that means you don't need any implementation here inside this class. You want implementation in either this or either this, wherever you want. In that case, you want to have an abstract class also. That's it. Okay, that's it. Okay, that means you can't use this class, you can't use this class directly. But if you have a child of this class, if you have a child of this class, then you can use it, then you can use it. Okay, that's the rule. Okay, so that's it, that's how it works, guys. I hope you understood this, and this is what abstraction is. If you have some abstract method which you don't want to show, like you want to keep it personal here, then only you can keep it inside the abstract classes. And then you have some child classes, you can see you have some child classes. Inside this you can use this abstract class. Okay, so it can be used in some purpose. It actually allows you to focus on essential aspects, because you can see this was not essential, so it's abstract. Okay, this was essential, so it's like normal class. So it actually allows you to focus on essential aspects of a class while hiding the implementation details. You can see we really have hidden the implementation detail. Okay, we have hidden the implementation of draw method. We have just used the draw method here, we have just used the draw method here, right? So that's how implementation would be hidden. And abstract class provides a way to define common behavior and structure, again which we did. We use draw method again and again in the subchilds. Okay, that's how it actually works. So right, guys, today we discussed all the concepts of oops, and let my animal nahi bhaiya, let karo. All right, so guys, we have discussed some important concepts of oops. I hope you understood this, and it's very basic. I can say the same is available in JavaScript, and we have just implemented it in TypeScript by using types, right? So this was it for this video. Now I'm gonna upload this on GitHub, and then we can end this session. So for that, I'll just open this with VS Code and upload this. Okay. And one more thing, guys, in the next video we're going to learn about file management techniques. Today we didn't learn about file management techniques. So in the next video we're going to learn about that. So please be prepared for that, and it would be most probably on I can say that Sunday. Okay, most probably on Sunday. Then the TypeScript part would be complete. Then after that, we are going to start with Next.js. So for Next.js, we have some prerequisites of React.js. These are some prerequisites of React.js. So if you don't know what is React.js, you can learn these concepts from somewhere in YouTube, or you can search for my videos also in the same channel, Geeks4Geeks development channel. You'll find these kind of videos. Okay, these topics, right? So these are important React.js topics which we are going to use in Next.js, and along with the TypeScript, we learned TypeScript, so we are going to use TypeScript as well as these important topics together in Next.js, because Next.js is right now trending. That's why I'm going to teach that. Then after a set of six sessions for Next.js, we are gonna create some projects, 3 projects, Next.js as well as Stack. Okay, so be prepared for that. And if you don't know what is Stack, you can watch my previous videos on the same channel. You'll find a lot of playlists, you can understand that. Okay, so let me just upload this. भैया GX के न्यू एम्पायर देखने वाले हो? मुझे ना एक्चुअली देखना पड़ेगा, अभी इसका नाम बहुत चल रहा है. ओके, आई थिंक आई हैव टू लुक फॉर इट. व्हाट्स एग्जैक्टली है क्या ये एग्जैक्टली, बता सकते हो? ओके, आई जस्ट अपलोड दिस. सो git add dot and git commit m oops and git push. Okay, so now the source code has been uploaded, and now what you can do is you can just visit my GitHub profile, and there you can get the complete source code. Let me just show you. You just need to type github.com/viraj014 in your browser. I'll just share this in the live chat also. And guys, you can definitely follow me here. These are my social media handles. You can follow me here if you want to contact me. In the repositories you would find TypeScript nextjs gfg. Okay, this is the repository. Here you can just mark it as a star, or you can search the name here. You can find the name here, and if you click on this you would get the complete source code for today, right? So सुन के अच्छा लगा, चल रहा है ये नाम आजकल. All right, so that's it for today, guys. I will see you in the next one. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.